Chapter 15. I was cool. I was fine. I slept okay. They were dreams, but I just put them out of my mind. When I got up next morning, ignored the fact my dad's eyes were red like he'd been crying. He was getting worse, not better, as it got closer to Sunday, to the second year anniversary of my mom's death. But I put that in my mind too. I had to put a lot of things out of my mind. It was going to be a habit. Unfortunately, I can tell you from experience, you can only have so many things in your brain at once, and eventually it's going to come back to you. I saw Jake in the hallway at school. I pretended not to notice. I saw Jake too. She had a dark look in her eyes like she hadn't slept, like something was really wrong. Even Cassie seemed grim. It got into all of us. It wasn't so easy just to forget terror. It's not easy to just ignore the memory of your leg being ripped off, of being dismembered and torn apart. One of these days I thought one of us was going to go crazy, totally lock me in a rubber room nuts. It was too much. This wasn't how life was supposed to be. One of us would snap. One of us would lose it. It could happen even to strong people. I knew because it happened to my father. I used to think nothing could ever destroy him, but then my mom's death did. He used to be an engineer, a brilliant scientist really. He was incredibly smart. We had a nice house, a nice car, used to live practically next door to Jake. I know that it's important. I know having things isn't what life's about, but it's still hard when my dad just stopped going to work. Jerry, his boss, tried to be nice. He gave him a couple of weeks to deal with losing Mom, but a couple of weeks was not enough. My dad's a janitor now, part-time. He gets jobs with temporary service. He unpacks boxes at department stores, that kind of thing. But I don't care what kind of job he has. That doesn't matter. What matters is when I lost my mom, I lost my dad too. See, people can snap. People can lose it. I know. I cruised to the morning classes. No big deal. At lunch I ended up at a table with Rachel. She didn't seem to notice. She was hunched over, eating mechanically. A girl named Jessica came walking down the tray. She bumped into Rachel and made her drop her fork. It splattered down the food on her tray. I don't know if Jessica did it deliberately or not. She's the kind of girl who thinks she's tough. Watch it, Rachel snapped. Watch you, man, acting outraged. Are you yelling at me? Don't get me in your mouth. I might have to slap it for you. She shoved against Rachel's back, and in a flash she was up out of her seat. She spun around, grabbed Jessica by the collar of her sweatshirt, and pushed her down against the next table. Jessica probably outweighs Rachel by 50 pounds, but it didn't matter. Rachel had her on her back on the table, scattering dishes of food everywhere. Rachel leaned over Jessica and said in a voice of cold steel, "Don't touch me." Also, Jake crossed the room, too far away to intervene. Cassie was with him. It was up to me. I jumped up and raced to Rachel, took a deep breath and shoved both my arms between them. Back off, Marco. Get her off me. She's crazy. I got her pushed against Rachel and I forced her off Jessica. Suddenly, Jessica started lashing out. I assumed she was trying to hit Rachel, but she missed. Ow! I grabbed my left eye. What are you hitting me for? And that's when the first teacher showed up. 5 minutes later, Jessica, Rachel, and I were sitting in the assistant principal's office, Chapman's office. Jessica's acting outraged in a very loud voice. Rachel was stonily staring ahead. I was wondering where my eyes keep swelling up. Chapman glared at us. What's the meaning of this, he demanded, fighting in a lunchroom? And you, Rachel, of all people. Why, do you think she's better than me? Jessica demanded. Chapman ignored her. He focused on Rachel. Is something the matter? Miss Halloran says you started the fight. Are you okay, Rachel? Is there some kind of stress in your life? For a second I was afraid. The look in her eyes was dangerous. I had this terrible flash for saying, yeah, I'm a little stressed. I just not killed turning an ant to sneak in your basement. I knew Rachel was too cool for anything like that, but just then I would have said she was too cool to start a fight in the lunchroom, too. It's my fault, Mr. Chapman, I said. Your fault? His eyes narrowed. Yes, sir. You see, they were fighting over me. See, they both want me. They're just madly in love, and I can certainly understand why, can't you? Are you crazy, you little toad? Jessica shrieked, but then I glanced at Rachel saw just the slightest little tug at the corner of her mouth, the beginning of a smile. Chapman yelled at us for a few minutes and told us all to make appointments with the school counselor. Then he let us go. In the hallway outside his office, Rachel walked with me. I wish I could do that, I said. What? Always think things are funny? That's why you're so, cool and in control. Me? Cool and in control? The idea surprised me. Rachel thought I was in control. Last night, it got to me. She shrugged and smiled her supermodel smile. You grind my nerves sometimes, Marco, always joking the way you do, but keep it okay. We need a sense of humor. Humor? You thought I was kidding? You mean you and Jessica aren't madly in love with me? Dream on, Marco, she said. Good job, Marco. Chapter 16. Axe finished building us a stress beacon. He had it ready next day, now he had a transponder. Now we have to figure out where to lay our trap. It couldn't be anywhere that'd ever be connected to us. Not Cassie's farm or nearby woods, not even anywhere in town if we could help it. A couple days after the end of the episode, we hooked up in the fields of Cassie's farm, up against the trees of the forest. There was one area we definitely had to keep safe. It was the only place he passed his mission to help him escape failed. It was the base camp with the answer. There's a gravel quarry further inland. There's never anyone there. It's just about an hour's flying time away. We're flying in, we're going to have to get Axe a birdmorph of some type, Jake said. He looked at Cassie. We have a few choices. We have a northern harrier that's poisoned, about your size, Tobias. Axe, do you mind picking up a birdmorph? I've admired Tobias' shape. It is truly wonderful in every way. The sharp talons, the beak, much better than a human body. Not that I mean to offend, it's just that humans have no natural weapons. I miss my tail when I'm a human morph. No offense taken, but you're wrong about humans have no weapons. You marinate human feet in a pair of old tennis shoes in a few hours on a hot day and you'll see a deadly weapon. The dreaded Stinkfoot. Okay, that's settled, Jake said. Now let's get into details. We're gonna call down a bug fire and need to have a plan ready. Saturday should be the day, I think. As long as it doesn't involve ants, I said. I meant as a joke, but no one laughed. No ants, Jake agreed quietly. I should have had an amusement. You know, we're talking about taking more Harbinger and Taxons. You used to think they were the scariest thing around, but the little ant scares me worse now. When the meeting broke up, I hung around until Jake was starting to go by to Cassie. Jake and I walked home together. For a while, we talked about normal things we used to talk about before our lives changed. We talked about basketball and disagreed over which is the best NBA team. We talked about music. Neither of us have brought a CD recently. We even talked about our aspiring king Batman's better or vice versa. You know, stupid everyday stuff. I was stalling because I didn't want to tell him what I decided. Jake's my friend forever. He knows me. Marco, what's the problem? What do you mean? I mean, you haven't said a single mean but funny thing the whole way. That's not you. I laughed and then I just blurted out, "This is my last time." What do you mean? You knew exactly what I meant, of course. I'm in for this time, but that's it. No more for that, and I'm serious. No one's gonna guilt me into it. I've done enough. He thought like that for a while as he walked. You're right. You've done enough. You've done 1,000,000 times more than enough. There's just been too many close calls. Yeah. One of these days you're not going to pull it off, you know? 10 more seconds his ants would have had us, and before that was a pot of boiling water. For that was practically killed by sharks. I mean, come on, enough is enough. You're right. Yeah. I was surprised he took it so well. I guess I shouldn't have been. We all kind of treat Jake like he's the leader, but he's never been pushy about it. What are you going to do Sunday, he asked. Somebody surprised him. I don't know. Some Sundays I go to Mom's grave, leave flowers and all, but this is a 2-year thing. I don't know, man. He just nodded. But I'll tell you one thing, Jake. A year from now, I don't want my dad going to leave flowers on 2 graves. Chapter 17. This is wonderful. Wonderful. Flying. This is the 6 of us together. Flying. It's first time for Axe. He just kept saying how wonderful it was and he wouldn't shut up. It was on the side he'd been since he discovered coffee, which is cool because flying really is wonderful. These are excellent eyes. Far better than human eyes, even better than my andalite eyes. Yeah, birds probably usually have great daytime vision. I think mine may actually a little better than yours, though. I doubt that, Axe said. It's hard to imagine better vision than this. Remember the good old days? They asked you to argue who had the best jump shot? Now it's who has the best bird eyes. We were sailing over a patch of woods. It was almost solid green below us. We had risen high on a beautiful thermal. A thermal is a warm bubble of air that acts like an elevator letting you soar high with almost no effort. We hope there are no bird watchers down the woods. We made a very unlikely flock. A red-tailed hawk, a falcon, harrier, bald eagle, and 2 ospreys. We kept some distance between us so it wouldn't be obvious we're together. Also, the eagle who Rachel was carrying looked like a small TV remote control. She was the biggest bird. She got stuck lifting the weight. I have an idea, I said. Let's just blow off the suicide mission and spend the day flying around. Sounds good to me, Cassie said. She meant it to be lighthearted. She just sounded too serious. And there's the quarry, Tobias announced. Dead ahead. Dead ahead! Excellent choice of words. We made a large circle, looking for anyone who might be in the woods, but there was no one. We spiraled down from the sky, deep in a deep open gash in earth that was the gravel quarry. It was a desolate place, just a big hole in the ground with some water in the lowest spots. You can slay her back in her usual forms, minus shoes, and wearing a motley collection of morphing clothes. We look like a trapeze act from a cheap circus, I said. Way too much spandex. Don't start with the uniforms again. There's no debate. I'd say how we need some decent superhero uniforms, like the X-Men, but now I realize I should be talking that way, as if we're going to be doing this in the future. I couldn't tell Jake at Tony as I was quitting. Probably he told Cassie, but I doubt Rachel knew or she would have said something. Same with Tobias. And Axe? Well, who knew what Axe? He was still a mystery to us. It was one of the things I missed after I quit. I mean, how often do you hang out with a real alien? And the flying. I'd missed the flying, but if I was out, I had to be out all the way. I guess I must look like Morose sitting there pile of rocks thinking. Jake Morgan kind of gave me a shove. You know, in a friendly way. Come on, we have to get back under that overhang, out of sight. Great, the rocks will fall and crush, so I don't have to worry about the yerks. There's sort of a shallow cave in the quarry wall, not deep, but the highest man when flying over. Well, let's try his axe. Out. Axe, you ready to trigger it? Yes, I am very ready, Prince Jake. Well, he looked around everyone. You all ready to go in your morphs? We nodded, except Axe. See, we all going to morph, our strongest, deadliest ones, and we'll take the Andalite crew in the came, but Axe didn't have anything but a shark, a lobster, an ant, and a harrier. We figure he's brought up his own body, which is plenty dangerous. Okay, Axe, do it. Everyone, morph. Let's keep our fingers crossed at, or talons, hooves, or whatever. Axe pressed the button on the distress beacon. As far as I could tell, nothing happened. It's working, he reassured us. So Rachel, Cassie, Jake, and I began to morph. They're all morphs than we've done before. There would be no battle to maintain control of the animal mind. Rachel went to her elephant. We figured need that brute strength and size. Jake slowly began a tiger. Cassie used her wolf morph, and I focused on my gorilla. What a freak scene this is. I'll have to change began. Anyone still to think he lost his mind. It was definitely odd. You don't seem weird to see pretty blonde supermodel Rachel grow a trunk as thick as a small tree and ears the size of umbrellas, or Cassie growing gray fur into her body, falling on all fours and bearing yellow teeth. There's Jake, huge curved claws growing from his fingers, a snake-like tail whipped out behind him, orange and black fur covered, and he was done he was a full-grown tiger, almost 10 feet from nose to tail, easily 400 pounds. If there's something deadly could ever be beautiful, it's a tiger. Bet I could kick your butt, I said to Jake. Yeah, monkey boy? I don't think so. Hey, I could stomp both of you, Rachel said. She walked over, swinging her trunk and flaring ears. A moving mountain. This is so mature, I said, arguing who could beat who. You're always saying I could we could all kick your butt, Wolfie. As if. You had to catch me first, and also I'm running along to you for your worn out and fast asleep. You have an amazing variety of animals in your planet, I said. Someday when New York's defeated, animals would come here simply to try out many animal forms. It'd be like a vacation. Joe Andalite, you won the Super Bowl. Now where are you going? I said, making Disney World commercials. I'm going to Earth to turn to a lobster. I don't understand, Axe said. I started to explain, but then a red light flashed on his distress beacon. The response signal, they're coming. Quick, everyone to your places, Jake said. He slunk away, liquid power, hiding in the shadow of a boulder. Rachel pressed back into the shallow, overhang. Cassie tried to a spot to the right of him. Jake and tried to look like a 400-pound gorilla behind a pile of gravel. Tobias flapped, struggling to maintain altitude. Swoosh! It came in low just above tree level and disappeared before turning to come back. A bug fire, just as we planned. Here's your ride home, Max, I said. Chapter 18. Swoosh. The bugfire flew over once again, seeming to pause and settle down to the floor of the quarry. Bugfires are the smallest of York ships. They weren't much bigger than a school bus. They have a cowled, insect-like look at either side of long, straight spears pointing forward, so like a cockroach holding two spears. It landed as gently as a feather, and I held my breath. Wait for it, Jake said. Wait for it. The hatch opened, outside the Harbinger controller. The Andalite Prince, Axe's brother, told us Harbinger were good, decent people, but enslaved against their will. Maybe, but what looked like to me was a whole different thing. They are big, walking razor blades, 7 feet tall with 2 arms and legs, and a nasty spiked tail similar to Andalite ones. They had sword-like blades raking forward from their snake heads, blades on their elbows and wrists and knees. I mean, look at it this way. If Klingons are real, they'd be scared of Harbinger. Get ready, Jake said again. The Harbinger stepped clear of the bugfire and they just stood there. There would be attacks inside, Axe reminded us. Yeah, we know, I said. Why is he just standing there? We should be looking around. After all, he's answering his stress beacon. Why would he just be standing there like he was waiting for something? On the count of 3, Jake said. 1, 2, 3. Tobias swooped him, falling over the sky close to 100 miles an hour. With a hawk noise he makes. He rakes his talon forward and hit the Harbinger's face. Jake leaped from the cover and sailed for the air and hit the Harbinger with paws outstretched, claws bared. The Harbinger went down hard. He rolled away as it slashed the air like an out-of-control cruising art? I have no idea what that is. But then Rachel rumbled up as big as a tank. Okay, back off, Jake. I have him. She pressed one big tree trunk-like leg on the Harbinger's chest and pressed him against the ground. She didn't crush him and held him like a bug who could easily be squished. He decided it's time to stop struggling and lay very still. Too easy, Farmine warned me. Too easy. No Harbinger control would just give up like that. But I had other problems. I had to get inside the bugfire and get the Taxon pallet. Let's go, I yelled. I ran forward, but loping clumsily on my squat gorilla legs, swinging on massive, mighty arms. Cassie and Rachel Axe were right there with me. Taxons are disgusting, oversized centipedes, so I wasn't worried. We're more than enough to handle a Taxon, but then... Zoom, a brilliant red gleam of light lanced in the air just inches above me. It blocked my way. Zip! Another beam of blinding red light just crossed behind me. It spilled gravel and it seemed to trace a path. Dracon beams, Axe cried. I spun around looking for cover. Zip! Look, Cassie screamed her head, up on the edge of the quarry. I looked as Dracon beams formed a cage of deadly light. The edge of the quarry above us is lined with Harbinger. I looked left, more. To the right, more. The entire quarry is lined with Harbinger warriors, each armed with a Dracon beam. There must have been 100. We are surrounded. Complete surrounded. Stay and morph, Jake snapped. Don't let them know we're human. Let's charge them, Rachel yelled. No, you can't climb up that rock face. Don't be stupid. Cassie called Tobias. Tobias, you can get away. I don't think so. No headwind. Take a couple minutes to flap my way out of here. They'd try before I got clear. The reality settled over us to despair. What are we gonna do? Cassie wailed. There has to be a way out. There has to be, Rachel yelled. Not this time, I said grimly. We are trapped. Outnumbered. Outsmarted. Finished. And that's... when he came. Chapter 19. He looked so much like Axe, so much like Prince Elfangor, but so totally different. The difference wasn't something you saw, it was something you felt. A shadow on your soul, a darkness that blotted out the sun. Evil, destruction. Not the impersonal, programmed destructiveness of the ants, this was warm-blooded, deliberate evil. His body was an Andalite. He was the only Andalite controller in existence, the only Yeerk ever to manifest an Andalite body. Infest a body, rather. The only Yeerk with the power to morph. Visitor free. The one who murdered Prince Elfangor, who cowered in terror. The one who even a Harbinger and Taxons feared. Well, well, he said, thought speaking to us. I have you at last, my brave Andalite bandits. Fools! Did you think we never change our frequencies? Yerk! Axe said, a silent voice loaded with hatred. Visitor Free's mask focused on him. A little one, he said, surprised. Our Andalites now reduced to using their children to fight us. Axe started to say something, but Jake snapped, "Shut up, Axe. No one communicates with him. Give him nothing." He felt something was practically vibrating with rage and hatred. It wasn't surprising. Vizafri had killed his brother. But Jake was right. We couldn't go into a conversation with him. The rest of us still wanted to hide the fact we were humans. We could too easily slip and reveal the truth. Vizafri seemed to be enjoying his big moment. What a colorful assortment of morphs. Earth has such wonderful animals, don't you agree? When we have enslaved the humans and made this planet over in our image, we'll have to make sure to keep some of these alive. It'll be entertaining to try some of these morphs myself. None of us say anything, at least not anything that was human. Jake did snarl, drawing his tiger lip back. "Especially you," he said to Jake. "That is a beautiful, deadly animal. I approve. In fact, I was going to demand you demorph. But you see, I have a better idea. We have a guest aboard a mothership, you see. It'll be entertaining to show you to Visor 1 as you are." Instantly, I'm reminded of the second book where he actually was amused and liked cats, so maybe he just has a thing for cats. I was sick with dread and fear, but not so afraid to notice a sneer as tones he said Visor 1. "Did you catch that?" Jake asked me in thought-speaking whisper. "Yeah," a thought-speaking whisper. "Yeah, he doesn't like Visor 1. Visor must have gotten some signal because that moment his blade ship appeared overhead. Shimmering into view as it decloaked. The ship was much larger and buckfires and very different. It was jet black, built like some kind of battle axe in the Middle Ages with two curved axe-head wings and a long diamond point handle aimed forward. "We better off making a run for it. It'd be suicide, I said, as long as we're alive, there's hope. Yeah, he's taking us to our mothership to show to his boss, some hope. But Rachel did nothing. I did nothing. We all just stood there in the watchful eyes of 100 Harbinger. They must have landed outside we were busy watching the one bug fighter. Actually used the wrong frequency. They figured out we were laying a trap, and our trap became Visor Free's trap. A couple dozen Harbinger leaped down from a high wall and surrounded us. They kept their Drake on me's level as the blade ship landed on the quarry floor. "Go! Obey! Go faster! Order!" said one of them, trying to mix English in their own language. He pointed to a blade ship and a door opened to one side. "I can't fit in there," Rachel said, but she approached the door widened. It stretched and grew so the metal skin were alive. Ooh, I didn't know they had that kind of technology, actually. What a pathetic little crew we were trooping along inside the blade ship. Weak and pathetic and stupid to imagine we could have resisted the Yerks. Vizafri was right. We were fools. This wasn't even my fight, I thought. Not really. This wasn't my time to die. I guess I wanted to feel angry, but what I felt was numb as we trooped inside. You know, like I wasn't really there almost. Like I was past feeling anything, I guess. I just kept thinking, it's happening. It's finally happening. The next day was Sunday. My dad would go to my mom's grave alone. It would be a while for me to admit that I too was gone, just like when my mom died. There'd never be a body. Just like my mom. Chapter 20. "This isn't looking good," I said. I couldn't take the silence anymore. "No, it isn't, but we're not dead yet," Jake answered. "Yet? Why does that make me happy?" I asked. I looked at the air as all crammed into a windowless steel cube. Black downlit steel walls on 4 sides. No door like a coffin. It was some kind of circus. An elephant, tiger, gorilla, wolf, and a freak of nature. They got some half-hearted laughs. I don't know why I was making jokes. I guess that's the way I am. When bad things happen, I tell jokes, but inside I felt sick like I'd swallowed broken glass. "Maybe we should just demorph," Kat said. "Maybe they realize we aren't Andalites, so let us go." She knew that was dumb, of course. When you're scared, you start grabbing at anything. She wanted to believe there's a way out. The truth was there are exactly 2 possibilities. He would kill us, or he'd turn us into controllers. He would infest us with a Yerk. We should stay an Animorph. I mean, the thing is, if he learns we're human, he may go to our families. He might figure we told them something. Prince Jake is right, Axe said. The Yerks will not want to take any chances the other humans know of them. It was true. I knew it was true. I guess I'd know it all along, but hearing it said made me want to crawl into a corner. My dad, Cassie's parents, Rachel's mom and her sisters, Jake's parents, maybe even Jake's brother Tom, although he was one of them. Their lives were at risk too. Suddenly a window opened in one of the walls. It just grew the same way the door did, like the steel was alive, formed a round porthole large enough for all of us to see. Even Rachel only turned her masked head up to look with one eye. I gasped. Forest blue and white and so beautiful brought tears to your eyes was Earth. Sun sparkled off the ocean. Clouds swirled over the Gulf of Mexico, a big spiral, maybe a hurricane. Look, Cassie said simply. We looked. For the eyes of the animals of Earth and the minds of human beings, we looked down at our planet. Our planet. For now, at least. For maybe a while longer. Then something different came into view as the blade ship rotated away from Earth. This is why the Yerks opened a window. This is what they wanted to see, so we would despair, Axe said. The mothership. It was a gigantic, free-legged insect. The center was a single, bloated spear. The spear was flatter on the bottom. From the bottom hung a weird, mishmash series of tendrils, like the tendrils of a jellyfish. Each must have been a quarter mile long. Around the spear, 3 legs bent up, then back down exactly like a spider's legs. The legs of the engines, the tendrils hanging down near the belly are weapons, incentives, and energy collectors. That's also where Starboard Cadrona is. They must bathe in it every 3 days and absorb control rays. There must be one to plant below, too. Yeah, I know, I said, and your brother told us, for all the good it did. It hung in orbit like a predator gazing down hungrily at the blue earth below. I can't believe people don't see us on radar, Rachel said. I mean, it's huge, it's a city. It is shielded, Ax said simply. It cannot be seen by radar, and normally be invisible to us. Visifree is showing it to us, to terrify us. He's doing a good job, I said. I've never been to space work, I said. Always wished I could. Always wanted to see Earth all in one piece like that. It's a lovely planet, Ax said gently. Not so different from mine, except we have less ocean, more grassland. I'm sorry I brought you all of this. This is all my fault. I wanted to yes, this is your fault, but Cass said what we all knew in our hearts. Ax, you're only here because your people wanted to protect us. Your brother-in-law of Andalites died trying to save us. Nothing is your fault. It was true, but sometimes when everything hits the fan, you don't want the truth. You just want someone to blame. One too many missions I've heard. This is going to be my last one. Well, I guess it still will be now. I could see an opening inside the mothership, a docking port. As we watched, a pair of quick bugfires flew in, dwarfed by the size of the opening. A moment later, we entered the docking port, suddenly bathed in deep red light. Through the window, we could see your crewmen, Harbinger, Tassins, 2 or 3 other alien species in simple red or brown dark uniforms. There were humans, too. My first reaction was hope. Humans. But then I realized the truth. Human controllers. Yerks, no different from Harbinger. There was a slight shudder as the blade ship came to a halt. Ax said, "What's our morph time?" We had been in morph for 40% of the allowable time. I did the math, so we used up 48 minutes, leaving what, 72? Yeah, Tobias confirmed. Not a lot of time for you guys. Maybe Rachel's right. Maybe we should just go out in a blaze of glory, attack as soon as they open the door. At least we can let them know we're here. We were here. I saw Jacob stand in his closet thinking about using them. He glanced at the door once, spelling he was measuring a distance. I knew he was listening to a tiger in his head, but he seemed to relax. No. We have to hope. Cassie sat next to him and nuzzled him with our wolf's muzzle. I guess it should have been funny, the wolf and tiger sharing a tender moment, but all it did was make me a little jealous. They had each other. We had been a pretty good fight, didn't we? I said. Our little circus. We did some damage to them. Yeah, we did. Ax hesitated then, do humans fear death? Yeah, we're not crazy about death. What about Andalites? We are also not crazy about it. Through the window, we could see a lot of Harbinger and Taxons and humans running around, racing to get somewhere. They were lining up, and I realized there were distinct kinds of uniforms, one red and black, others gold and black. The brown were around the edges like they were less important. Suddenly, out whirring, the window opened into a large arched doorway. Fetid air rushed in, smelling of oil and chemicals and something else. The ramp rose up from the steel floor outside to meet us. We were seeing it's like a display on top of a ramp. All around, building this side of the docking bay were uniformed Harbinger, Taxons, and humans. Most were in red and black, perhaps 200 creatures standing in stiff rows. About a quarter tall were gold and black. There were more humans in the group, but some unusually massive Harbinger. Jake, I have a feeling. I don't think the reds like the golds. I think they are troops of different visors. I think I heard my brother talk about it. Each one has their own private army and their own uniforms. Swell, I wonder which group gets to have us. Far at the back of the rows of alien troops, there was a movement. A party of creatures walking to the front. Visifreeze at the center, followed by 2 Harbinger in red. To the left was a human woman with dark hair and very dark eyes. And that's when I stopped breathing, because I knew. Even before I could see her face clearly, I knew. They marched to the bottom of the ramp. A dozen soldiers leveled Dracon beams just in case we wanted any trouble. Then, not speaking of all that all could hear, Visifree turned to the woman beside him. You see, Visor One, I have taken the Andalite bandits. The crisis is over. Your trip here is wasted, and you can return to the homeworld. Visor One nodded. He looked at us with his dark brown human eyes. Eyes I knew. Eyes I remembered. The same eyes that watched me sleep every night from the framed picture beside my bed. My mother. Visor One. I sat down. Very suddenly, I'm sure it looked funny, a big-haired gorilla simply falling down. I would have laughed if I'd seen it. My mother, not dead, alive. I wanted to yell, Mom, Mom, it's me, Marco. But Jake was in my head in a loud, urgent whisper. Marco, don't say anything. Don't do anything. Do you hear me? So I wasn't imagining it. Jake recognized her too. Marco, listen, man, you have to hold it together. My mother, alive. My mom. Come on, Marco, stand up. Don't make them suspicious. He's speaking just to me. I could hear him. I could, but it seemed from far off. He'd understand. This is my mom. My mom! Margo, that's not your mother. Not anymore. That's not her. Jake, it's my mom. Look at her. No, it isn't, Margo. Not anymore. They have her. She's one of them. One of them. Why, Visor One, Visifree sneered. You seem to have frightened the humanoid one. It's called a gorilla, Visor One said coldly. If you were going to be in charge of Earth, Visifree, you should at least learn some of the planet. And take a human host like you? No, I think not. Human bodies are weak. I much prefer this host. My mother looked up and curled her lip. I took a human host and learned the planet and the humans, and if because of that I was to begin the invasion that you have now endangered with your criminal incompetence. Visitor 3's deadly tail twitched going to stab my mom. Visitor 1. The red troops tensed up. The gold troops had their hands on edges of their weapons. Okay, I think you're right, and Rachel said. They definitely don't like each other. She didn't know, I realized slowly. Rachel didn't know, because she had never met my mother, neither Cassie or Tobias, and Jacob kept her top private. Visitor 3 slowly relaxed. You would like to provoke me, Visitor 1, but the fact is that I have destroyed the Andalite force. I shut down their dome ship. I killed Prince Elmgor myself and heard his dying screams. And now I've eliminated this last pathetic rabble of Andalites. My mom, Visitor 1, just smiled. You want to be Visitor 1? You think you can take my title? We'll see. The Council of 13 is not like visitors who make mistakes, and you have made mistakes. Be very careful of your ambition. She snapped her fingers, and every one of the soldiers in gold turned. Then she walked away, followed by her gold-uniformed troops. That was not my mother. At least not the creature who called herself Visitor 1. Visitor 1 was the yerk inside Mom's brain, but the sickening thing is the host's mind is still alive in there. It's still aware. Somewhere inside the head behind those painfully familiar eyes, my mother still lived. Take it easy, Marco, Jake said. I know how it is. I know how much you want to do something, but now is not the time. They'll cut us down before we got down to 2 steps. I know, I said dully. I was up for not trying, but I knew there was nothing I could do. I had to hide inside my morph. Never let my mother know it was me. Never let her know. Slowly, heavily, I stood up. I felt weak, a very strange feeling for a gorilla. I think if I'd been any other morph, would just surrender, let the animal mind take over, let instinct rule and wash over my human emotion. But the gorilla is too much like a human. Its instincts are gentle. Like a human, it's a creature with emotions. It couldn't protect me from the pain. Don't tell the others, Jake. You're the only one who recognized her. Okay, Marco. You can't tell Cassie, okay? It's okay, man. You're my oldest and best friend. You know that. No one will ever know from me. Visitor 3 stared. That's how I could tell. I think he wasn't sure what to do next. 6 Andalites, he said. 6 bodies to be used for my loyal lieutenants. Axe exploded. And there'll be others like you Phil. Other controllers, more unnatural abominations like your vile self. He cocked his head thoughtfully. Why are you the only one who speaks? You're right, of course. Why would I allow anyone to acquire Andalite morphing powers? But you are a child. Why do the others remain silent? Why do you all still hide in your morphs? Curious. Very curious. He seemed to think it over a minute. Would he realize the truth? Would he figure out the reason there remained silence between yes, we are human? Would he figure out if we stayed in morph? He seemed to shrug. Take them back to a holding cell, triple the guard. If there's even the slightest trouble, kill them all. They marched down the hallway. Rachel's still in her huge elephant body filled the hallway like our aunt's bodies filled the tunnels with sand. Tobias rubbed my shoulder on another thigh in a cramped space. The place ended up in was just like the bare black prison we held in a blade ship, but this time no window appeared. There was a dim lighting ray from the ceiling, but nothing else. I slumped down in the corner. What's your time look like, Axe? Jake asked. You have only 30% of your time left. 36 minutes, Jake translated. 36 minutes when the rest of my life is an elephant. Not that the rest of my life is likely much time. For a while everyone talked about various plans for escape. It was all just talk, because we knew we were trapped. We knew it was over. We were aboard the mothership. It was huge. We had a week to learn our way around. We'd still be lost. There are hundreds, maybe thousands of armed Yerks, Harbinger, tactics, and a few other shapes I'd never seen before, and of course humans. Like my mother. My mother, Visitor 1, the most powerful of the visitors. When did that happen? Had the Yerks taken her earlier? Was she already a controller for the last year she was with us? When she had come to my bedroom sick at night, would have been a Yerk slug just playing the part like an actor? When I tried to fake sickness at school, was it a Yerk who saw my story and kid and joked me into admitting it? Was it a Yerk hanging out presents on Christmas morning? A Yerk singing in the church choir? A Yerk pulling the puppet strings on my mother's body as she dragged me through JCPenney's and made me buy school clothes I didn't like? Was it a Yerk I used to find making out my dad like a teenager and I didn't think I saw them? All of it an act? All of it fake? For how many years? How much of what I thought my mother had been one of them? One thing was sure, her death had been faked. The so-called drowning incident. No body recovered. But the body had been recovered, hadn't it? The Earth's mission had been accomplished, the invasion had started. Visitor 1 was leaving Earth in the hands of Visitor 3, and so she had disappeared, not leaving anyone asking questions. There has to be something we can do, Rachel was saying. Axe said, my people was saying, grace is the acceptance of the inevitable. Yeah, I said something? Well, I don't accept. That's what they want. They want the whole human race to lie down and accept the inevitable. Jake turned his big eyes on me. I saw Tobias' internally fierce glare, and I stood up. I have a saying for you. I got it from a fortune cookie. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. You know what that means? It means you don't just lie there. You always get up. You always come back for more. You never surrender. Maybe you die, but you never surrender. We're all looking at me now, for the eyes of a wolf and a hawk and a big sad eyes and an elephant. Ants, I said, and we have to morph ants again. Cassie was shocked. You're saying that? You? I thought you hated those ants. I did, but it might work. We morph ants, maybe there's a crack in here. We escape from the walls and the machines. We can hide and morph into something more dangerous and disappear again. Maybe we can find a way to destroy the Kandrona. That's nuts, Rachel said. I like it. At least we can hurt them a little before they catch up to us, Jake agreed cautiously, except for Tobias. You have to do what's right for the group, Tobias said. I'll have to take my chances. I'll feel better knowing you guys still out there somewhere making trouble for the Yeerks. It may work, Axe said. The Yeerks are not familiar with morphing except for visitor-free. They may not expect an insect form. Alright then, Jake said. Let's... The door opened. It simply appeared silently in the wall. Standing there was 3 Harbinger. They were wearing gold uniforms. Lying in a war were 4 other Harbinger. They were each uniformed in red. They were dead or unconscious. Don't move, Jake snapped, saw Rachel and me tensing up. The lead Harbinger, a huge creature made 8 feet tall with head blades that were more than a foot long, eyed us. He spoke because he wouldn't speak in the strange mishmash the Harbinger normally use. This one sounded like he was educated at Harvard. This hallway goes in that direction for 100 feet. He pointed to his left. Then comes a guard station. There'll be 2 Harbinger and a Taxon. From there, 4 hallways. Take the one first to your left. Fall to a drop shaft. Take a drop shaft down 15 decks. Directly ahead of you, you'll see escape pods. He looked at Rachel. You're too large and morphed to fit the escape pod. You'll need demorph to get there. The pod is programmed to return to the planet the same area you were seized. The pod will then self-destruct. Do you understand? We all just stared. It's a trap, Tobias said. No, we're already trapped. They could kill us at any time. Marco's right. Why let us escape? They want to kill us. This is one of Visor 1's soldiers, Axe pointed out. It'd be very embarrassing if Visor 3 if his prisoners could escape. Politics, Castello laughed. This is about politics. Visor 1's making Visor 3 look back. We escaped, but we blamed on him. You'll have to deal with any Visor 3's troops you encounter between here and the escape pod, he said. Leave. Now. Axe, huh, Jake asked? Only 50% of your time is left. That's about 18 minutes. Let's do it. I'll go in front, Rachel said. Okay, let's move, Jake said. Rachel squeezed a massive tangent hallway. Alright, let's see who wants to try and stop me. That won't be easy. Chapter 13. Rachel made the steel floor vibrate each massive step. Her leathery sides scraped a corridor wall so I could only see occasional glimpses past her. The hallway was empty to reach the guard station, just as the Harbinger had said, and Rachel didn't even slow down. Woof, woof, woof. I saw a flash of Taxon foolishly running to cut her off, using there to jump over to crush the remains of a big centipede. Look out, Harbinger, Cassie yelled. He exploded out of side corridor, a red uniform one. Swoosh. A razor blade arm sliced the air inches from my face. More incoming, Tobias warned, both directions, all of them in red. I can't turn around, Rachel moaned. She's too big, too tight to fit in the corridors and turn and help, as if half the Harbinger and Visfree's livery came screaming onto the scene. I knew it couldn't be that easy. Battle, Axe said, sounding like he was announcing a party. I felt the same way. I was ready. I was mad and tired of feeling helpless. The closest one swung me again, sliced a 6-inch long cut in the matted fur of my huge shoulders. That's all it took. Like I said, gorillas are peaceful and gentle, but don't go making one angry, especially not when a boy who wants very badly hurt some Yeerks is sharing space in its head. I cried and swung a fist the size of a cinder block in a stone Harbinger. I gave it all I had and put every ounce of muscle into the blow. The Harbinger was let to clear up off the deck and his head slammed to the ceiling. He was down and out of the game. Before my eyes saw another one leap at Axe. The analyzed tail flashed forward so fast you didn't even see it. He staggered back, minus an arm. Good one, Axe. You as well. Haha. I decided right then I kinda liked Axe. Rachel, Jake yelled. Keep moving. Left tunnel. Look for a drop shaft, whatever that is. The longer we stay here, the more these guys are gonna show up. Then round Q2 more came up from behind us. You guys move. I'll deal with them, Jake said. Harbinger rushed us. Jake let loose a roar that must have been heard from the other side of the mothership to the other. It even scared me, and it sure made a Harbinger hesitate. He was on them while we were still thinking about what to do next. Harbinger are fast, but so are tigers. One was down with Jake sinking fangs into his snake-like neck. Another looked around to make sure no one saw him to decide he'd like to live. He kept his distance. Smart boy, smart boy. Jake backed away but kept its face toward the Harbinger behind us. We tried as fast as we could in the hallway, now it's seen the devastation. It was like the ant tunnel, so we could only try to escape. The longer we fought, the more the odds would turn against us. And suddenly, ah! Rachel, Tobias cried. It's okay, I found a drop shaft. I am... dropping? What is it? An elevator without a floor? Then I was there at the edge of a long shaft that went down and down, made forever. Rachel looked so small, which wasn't easy for her to do. He said to stop it after 15 levels. Yeah, how do I do that? Think the number, hear speech, understand symbol, thought, speak commands, Axe instructed, then add, at least that's how it works on our ships. I'm slowing down. Cool. More Harbinger back here, at least some of the other ones, the little wrinkled ones. They're coming fast. Here's nothing, I said. Took a look down a drop shaft and jumped off in empty space. More if the fact I had been a few minutes from being trapped in a morph and one a dozen or so shallow shears behind me, it would have been fun. I fell, but not very fast. 15 levels, I thought, as the floor zipped past me. 12 down, plummeted past the human controls, getting ready to step in the drop shaft. He had a very human look of total amazement. Probably because while staying there, he'd seen a flying elephant, followed by a gorilla, wolf, andalite, and a tiger. Yeah, I'd hesitate too. Harbinger coming fast by us, Soren. I looked up the shaft. A big Harbinger warrior was gaining on us, but there's nothing I could do until he reached us. He's mine, Tobias said. He flapped his wings, flapped hard, and shooting back up to drop shots of the falling Harbinger. His talons came forward, outstretched, and slashed the alien's eyes. And the Harbinger clutched his face, because she was trying to think about what floor he's heading to. Shot past, so he slowed down at 15th level. Hard floor under my feet again, a very good feeling. Rachel, you have to demorph. Already on it, she was shrinking even as she lumbered along. Escape pods ahead there. They're only a dozen feet from us. A few seconds more we'd make it. Rachel stumbled. She was half human elephant, a nightmare of pink and gray, with huge ears and human hair and fat arms and legs that had no feet. I reached down and swept her up in my powerful arm. She's still large, maybe 300 pounds, but not too much for me to carry. Reached the door of the drop pod. It closed behind us to wedge our oversized bodies inside. Axe time. 5% remains. 6 minutes. Morph out. There's a surge escape pod ejected on the other side of the morph ship. My dense black fur was already starting to disappear at the time the pod rotated. I could see Earth below. Earth. As the tiny ship turned to see the Yerk mothership. It was kind of a joke now, I thought. The Yerk mothership. My mother on the Yerk mothership. Haha. Before I was fully human, I lost ability. Thoughts I had turned the words out loud. I said, Jake? Yeah, Marco. No one finds out. No one can ever know. Okay, Marco. Mother died 2 years ago tomorrow. That's how it'll be, my friend. Yeah, but someday... Someday, somehow, in some way I couldn't foresee, we would win this battle. Humans and animals together defeat the Yerks, and we would free all of their slaves. All of them. Someday, I whispered again. Someday, Marco. Chapter 24. I guess there's no such thing as a nice graveyard, but the place where my mom is remembered is as nice as it can be. The grass is green, there's a tree nearby, it's always very quiet, you can smell flowers. I hate going there. My dad stood for a long time looking down at the white marble headstone. It has my mom's name, the day she was born, the day she dies, and a message says no wife, no mother is ever more loved, or more deeply missed. My dad and I stood a few feet apart, and we didn't say anything, we both just kind of cried. You probably wouldn't think I was the kind of guy who can cry, and mostly I don't. Mostly I just make jokes. It's better to laugh than to cry, don't you think? I do. Even when the world is scary and sad. Especially when it's scary and sad. That's when you need to laugh. 2 years, my dad said. Surprised me. Yeah, 2 years. He took a deep breath, like it was hard to breathe. Look, Marco, I've been thinking. Yeah? I haven't been a very good father to you. It wasn't a question, so I didn't say anything. Your mom... He had to stop on his voice under control. Your mom would not be happy the way I've been these last 2 years. What could I say? I decided to say nothing. Anyway, I talked to Jerry the other day. Jerry is his old boss back when he had a regular job. He shrugged. I guess we have to live, huh? I mean, we can't, you know. Another heavy breath. Your mom wouldn't want us to give up, would she? Anyway, I'm going back in money to talk to Jerry about getting back to work. You know, see if I still remember how to even turn on a computer. It was a big thing, a big decision, I guess. What I should have done was run over and give him a hug and tell him I was proud, because I was proud of him, but that's not me. Oh, Dad, you can never figure out computers, especially games. There's been blank guys I've seen the last few years and suddenly laughed. You punk kid, I forgot more about computers you'll ever know. Oh, right, so why do I always kick your butt whenever we play Doom? I let you win. I made a rude noise. Yeah, how about we just go home and play a game so I can show you how totally wrong you are? I couldn't stop her giving me a hug. I guess I didn't mind all that much. We walked over your mother's gravestone, the stone that marked the death of a woman who is not dead. I raised my eyes up to the sky, the blue sky of Earth, my home. She's probably gone from the mothership now, off to some corner of the galaxy. But no matter where she was, no matter how far, I'd find her. Someday. And that's the end of Animorphs number 5. Whew. This book had a lot of feels in it, as you can tell. But I hope you all enjoyed it. I certainly did.